Luke, welcome. Really excited to have you here, man. I think it'd be great if we would start with just like a little bit of an intro for yourself and your background. I know you've been with Benzinga now for over 9 years, I think, which is really cool. And you've been, growing that, and you guys are doing some amazing stuff over there. So it'd be great if you want to fill people in on your background and how you got into Benzinga initially, and what you're currently up to.
Totally. So, as Michael said, I'm Luke with Benzinga. I've been here for just about 10 years, like 9 3/4. The way that I got into it, I don't have a ton of background because I started at Benzinga when I was 19 and when it was basically not a business yet. But I was always a stock market junkie growing up. Like when I was 13, 14 years old, basically what I would do is I would cut a lot of lawns in the summer. I would paint some walls, paint some houses, clean some floors, whatever it was, accrue $500 to put it into the stock market. I had to have my dad walk into a physical Scottrade branch at that time to deposit my $500 check. When I got to move to a charger real quick. But he would have to walk in to deposit a physical check. And then I would lose all of that money over the subsequent 6 months. So basically that was my formative years, 13 through 16, 17. The way that I got to Benzinga, and we are a stock market news and data site. And sorry, you're getting the whole office tour, but I just got the alert. My computer's about to die. The way I got to Benzinga is I was on an online stock forum about 10 years ago. And I saw somebody posting on this same totally BS stock that I was in. It was a patent troll stock, so it didn't actually have any money from operations. They just owned a ton of patents and basically said they were going to sue Google and earn royalties on every Google search that happens. Would have been great. It didn't. The stock basically went to zero, lost all my money again. But just by happenstance of seeing that the Benzinga founder happened to be in Michigan, just like I was in Michigan at the time, I just reached out and said, "Hey, what's up, fellow local person? Just reaching out to say hi." And he said, "Hey, I'm starting this website, benzinga.com, to share stock ideas, write about stocks that I think are interesting. You should just come write on the site for me, or write on the site with me." And so that's how I got started. There's no money, there's no revenue, no anything. It was just a couple passionate stock market junkies sharing opinions on stocks. And 10 years later, we accidentally turned it into a real business.
And that was Jason?
That was Jason. Yep.
Yeah, that's super cool. So he's from Michigan as well?
Exactly. Basically, we started as just a group of people who didn't want to have to live in New York. Sorry for all you New York people out there, but Michigan is home for us. We wanted to be able to stay local, and that's where our rallying cry started from.
Love it. Yeah, that's great, man. I think New York is like the hub of finance, but I think there's more traders and people now that just do everything virtually and online, and I think you guys are leading that charge too of people who can do finance and trade and invest without being in New York or major hubs, right? So
exactly, we want to make it accessible, right? Like all of our content is very short form. It's mobile first. It's jargon free. It's just the boom, boom, boom. Here's what happened. Here's why it matters. Here's what's next. Rather than 3,000 words that's going to take you 25 minutes to read through just to get a grasp of the story.
Exactly. And I love that. I want to also real quick, if people aren't familiar with Benzinga, I'm going to do a quick screen share if you don't mind. And it might be cool just show people the site. I'm going to drop the link for it in the comments too for people to check out. But we'll go through here, and I'll actually go ahead and let me screen share this and pop over. So this is their site. I mean, they have a ton of news information. They have a ton of new newsletters and things going on as well. Luke, I don't know if there's anything specific that would be cool to highlight or show people around as I have it up here, but the amount of education information is just insane.
Yeah, I'll point out a couple things. If you scroll up a little bit, yep, and you click on this button that says latest news.
Yep.
here's just like a scroll of everything that we're covering. And we're publishing almost 200 times a day.
Wow.
So if you're like a general business news, market news junkie like we all are, it's a fun place to hang out. You're on your lunch break or you're kicking back in the evening and just want to see, oh, Coinbase had earnings out. People are selling, nobody's buying Pelotons anymore. What's going on with Jack Dorsey and Block, right? All that sort of thing.
Yep.
There's tons of super interesting topics.
For sure.
And again, it's all like very short form, 200, 300 words. It's not a novel.
Totally. Yeah, I love popping in here. I want to figure out how we can also tap into this. I mean, we'll have to look into your guys' APIs, but I think it'd be great to start displaying some of this stuff within our feed and within the Entre app as well, because it could work out really well, and we can just pull in all the stuff that you guys are already doing. So we'll have to chat about that as well and see what we can do there. But really cool stuff. And that kind of goes into maybe the next question I had, which was like, what do you think with all the stuff that you guys are doing and with all the information that you're collecting and companies that you're doing research on and the data that you guys are collecting, like do you have any, insights into what's happening right now? Obviously, even just that short list of news that we just went through with all the stuff happening. I know there was like 5 other companies that did layoffs and layoff announcements today. Obviously, there's definitely some movement in the markets and people are kind of gearing up for what a lot of people are calling this kind of like recession or correction. And if you want to just touch on that for a second, what you guys are seeing and what information you're collecting, or if you have any insights into what's happening right now, I think it could be really helpful for everybody.
Yeah, so here's something that's really interesting that we get access to. We get about 20 million people go to benzinga.com every month. About 90% of that is US, so it's like, 20 million times 0.9 means we're touching 18 million of 200 million US adults. It's like a decent sample size. What we're seeing is that people were sort of burying their heads in the sand during the first part of this year, even let's call it the first maybe 8 months of this year. And then over the course of September and October, individual investors are starting to come back. We find that they're not making a ton of investment decisions right now, but they are starting to come back and read and look at what's going on and build watch lists and all those sorts of things. We had the Federal Reserve rate decision yesterday. They did 75 again. I was very cautiously optimistic that they would go for 50. Nobody believed me. I was wrong. It had a very audible, loud F word that came out as soon as I saw it hit the wires yesterday. So I was wrong. It seems like the Federal Reserve is still keeping their foot on the gas in terms of rate hikes, which isn't great. It makes me, for my personal portfolio, a little bit queasy and a little bit more risk adverse. But again, it's great to see that individuals are starting to come back and pull their heads out of the sand and say, hey, a lot of these tech stocks that are down 70, 80% from where they were a year ago, they might be interesting to start adding into the portfolio again.
Totally. There was a question related to Benzinga. They were asking if you could sort the latest news by industry or sector, or based on like a watch list if you have a profile on there. Is that possible?
Yeah, so here's what's really cool. You create an account. It's totally free. You can connect your brokerage account. So if you have a Schwab account or a Robinhood account or a Webull account or an E-Trade account, whatever it is, connect your portfolio. And then not only can you just see the news on your stocks, but we'll actually send you a daily digest that just goes over, hey, here's how your stocks did today. Here's the news on them and any upcoming events. Like, hey, you own Disney, it's going to be reporting earnings 5 days from now. All the analyst action, like, hey, the analysts that covered Disney at JP Morgan just said they think the stock is going to 200. All those good useful tidbits. Again, same mantra of let's just make it really quick, let's make it really actionable so you can get in and get out.
Love it, love it, love it. I think, yeah, it's super. The amount of like insights and just like quality of I mean research and just like the news and all of that stuff is like, yeah, it's super cool. I haven't seen anything else quite like it. I mean, I think you guys got a lot of really, really interesting features within your platform. So what's next for you guys on the horizon here? Like, what are you looking to build next? What are the new features that are coming? What's the future of Benzinga going to be looking like over the next, few years or 5 years?
Yeah. So right now we're so stock oriented. We think we do as good a job as anybody, a better job than anybody at individual stock investing, right? Idea flow, updates, information. We've got several subscription products that give you really deep analysis. We think we do an amazing job at that. Something that we stuck our toes in the water in this year is outside of stocks, getting into alternative investments. So we built out a team and we built out a tool set to cover sort of this democratization of investing in things like apartment buildings. Or did you know, Michael, that as an individual, you can buy part of an oil tanker? If you want to go and buy an oil tanker outright, it's going to cost you $250 million. You can now, have exposure to an oil tanker with as little as $1,000 and buy a fractional share of that. So we started covering this year some of those topics, and it's been incredibly well received. People just don't know that they have access to these things. They don't know how to think about these types of investments. And so we've done a lot of work to get that information flow out there. If you want to check out the link or put one in the chat, it's benzinga.com/alts, ALTS. And then we've got like some cool screeners and all that say, hey, if you want to invest in single family homes in Austin, here's a way that you can use $1,000 to speculate on the price of single family homes in Austin, Texas. Which again is really, really cool. Next up for us, we're going the yield route. So in the background, we built a database of 250 investments that all offer some sort of yield without principal risks. We're talking certificates of deposit. We're talking treasury bonds. We're talking corporate bonds, high yield savings accounts, etc. And so we'll be rolling out a platform in the next week or two that you can, as a user, say, hey, I've got $5,000 that I want to earn between 4 and 8% interest on, and I want absolutely zero risk to my $5,000 of principal. What are the options? I'm willing to take a little bit of risk to my principal. What are the options? And so the next big step for us is going from being this place that is the spot for individual stocks to the spot for whatever your investment world calls for.
Got it. Love that. Love that, man. And what are you guys doing with the alternative investments is super interesting. I was just checking out the site there, and I put the link in the chat too for people. What's the future looking like with you guys in crypto? I know we can start kind of segueing into that now. How are you guys looking at this industry, and then how are you focusing on potentially starting to cover a lot more of it? I know you guys have a whole crypto section on your platform, but how are you thinking about this industry as well?
Yeah. So I mean, we're launching a crypto event for the first time in this December, right? And everybody that we talk to, all of our advisors, our board, our internal team who are digital asset believers, think we're crazy for, hey, you're gonna take on $1 million expense to launch this event in the middle of the winter. But for us, it's more than just the dollars and cents. It's us planting our flag in the ground and saying, hey, this is an asset class that we believe in. This is an asset class that's here to stay. It's sticking around. Let's do this thing, right? There's a lot of questions right now. There's a lot of fear right now. There's a lot of worry right now. And there's absolutely still money to be made. Winter or not, there's money to be made, right? Bull and bear markets. We've seen it with stocks how many times over. Bear market, somebody's still making money. And so that's the question that we're answering with this event. You know, we're not running from the winter. We're actually hosting a pre-party. I think you'll like this. We're hosting a party the night before. It's at the New York Islanders hockey stadium. Like they were watching one of their games. We're calling it the Crypto Winter on Ice, sort of like a Disney on ice. We're calling it Crypto Winter on Ice.
I love that.
You know, so we're just leaning into it and saying, hey, this is something that we believe in. You know, we've invested in building the editorial team here. We're investing a lot of money and a lot of energy into this event. You know, we want to, in the same way that we can provide this quick, actionable investing information for stocks, let's do the same thing on the crypto side of things.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, you guys got a lot of high-profile speakers coming to this, so it's going to be pretty sweet. I know a lot of people are, you know, still learning about crypto and trying to figure things out. I'm sure you saw the news about Instagram today rolling out NFTs or going to be rolling out these digital collectibles. I'm sure you guys had a post about that on Benzinga, or you guys were covering it. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and we'll drop the link to. I have the link for the conference here set up here on Entre for everyone, with the discounted tickets as well. So I'll grab the link for that, and we'll get that in the room chat as well for people. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot to discuss there. Yeah. So here's exactly. This is going to be really, I mean, the fact that, you know, you had Reddit rolling out digital collectible avatars, you have Instagram and Meta getting into this, like, clearly this industry isn't going anywhere, right? It's just going through a restructuring. And honestly, I'm glad, because a lot of, you know, the like low quality BS of the industry is just getting wiped out. And now that's what's left is, you know, the good projects and, you know, the legit people and
100%.
everyone that's left. So is that kind of how you guys feel as well with this? It's like, this is kind of just like a, you know, a little bump in the road, but it's actually weeding out all the BS, kind of similar to like 2000 with the internet.
Yeah, it's like an equilibrium thing. Like I was just listening to a conference call for a mortgage lender as an example. There's a lot of real estate agents in the world. Right now, the average real estate agent is closing 0.6 deals a month. Which just indicates that, hey, so many people when the housing market was so hot jumped into it and became real estate agents, right? And probably people who weren't qualified, didn't know what they were doing, didn't have a passion for the space, right?
Yeah.
And like I thought about it, I'm like, shit, I can sell some houses right now. It seems pretty easy, you know.
The listing is good, man.
Exactly. You know, and so I think we're seeing it in a lot of spaces where it's we you know have this saying in Detroit that like that's where we are, right? It's a city that's gone through a lot of change, right? It's not necessarily a Detroit thing, but it's something that you'll see in every window here. But it's tough times don't last, tough people do, right? The projects and the ideas that have staying power and are worth working on through a winter are still going to be there when the winter ends, right? The ones that don't, I mean, there's so many money grabs, right? I mean, there's just so many bad things that were happening, and we clean some of that up, like, great, we're all in a better position now.
Totally agree. I think yeah, it's going to be great. I think for once everything kind of levels out. And I was at the Circle conference last month, and it was really interesting to see a lot of these big institutions and, you know, a lot of you know, private equity people there and whatnot too. And the consensus is kind of like a lot of the big money is just waiting for regulations and stuff to get like approved and like policies and whatnot. And as soon as that happens, the floodgates are going to be open, and it's going to be crazy. So I think it's going to be, interesting to see when that happens and how that all plays out. There's another question here in the chat too. to become the spot for alternative investments, what are the big challenges or the scary ones you'll need to tackle the rest of the year and next year? How are you tackling them? I guess as being, trying to be the leader in alternative investments now.
Yeah, so a lot of these alternative investments, and it's still a very new industry, like making these investments accessible for individuals, very, very new. A lot of what's available is real estate based. Now is not the hottest time for real estate, right? These are like commercial office buildings, they're multifamily housing, they're single family homes, they're medical centers, that sort of thing. High interest rates, absolutely not good for appreciation in real estate assets. So, we go back to the drawing board and we say, all right, people are going to have to put money somewhere, right? You can hold cash is absolutely an option, but you have stocks are down. We're starting to see some resurgence in stocks, so maybe it flows there. Crypto's down. Housing is starting, or just real estate in general is starting to come down. What else is out there? And that's sort of what points me to that yield topic that I talked about earlier. Like, we talked to so many people who just say, like, all right, what are some ways that I can protect interest, earn some yield on my money, so that way I don't just have it sitting on cash while I'm waiting to buy the crypto bottom, I'm waiting to buy the tech stock bottom, etc. So the big challenge is just making sure that we're in front of what's next. That's something that we're, I think, as good as any at, is just being one step ahead of, hey, here's what's next. Here's where people are going to be looking next in order to allocate some money. Let's make sure that we have the information, we have the tools in order to help them with that.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really good approach, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how these alternative investment classes grow, because I think, especially for like investing like micro shares and buying, letting people into deals that they could never have gotten into, like you were saying, buying pieces and chunks of unique opportunities.
The oil tanker is my favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to.
That's crazy.
I might have to look into that. I mean, oil is kind of a hot topic these days, so I don't know how well we'll do, but I think for the near future, I don't think people realize how reliant we are on oil still and how much it still controls the world. But I mean, until there's significant infrastructure for renewable energy and electric energy, we're still going to have a massive dependency on oil for a long time. And what people don't realize as well is that a lot of this green energy, to actually make it happen, isn't actually so green. Like the lithium mining that's happening right now, and the other mining and costs of shipping these renewable energy infrastructures and the equipment and all of this stuff, like all of that is producing, other not environmentally friendly things as well. And it's costing a lot of money to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out in that space. But I mean, I think real estate and other things, obviously there's a lot of collectibles and things, wine, all these like weird alternative asset classes, art, and then obviously NFTs now. It's really interesting to see how things are going to be playing out. Do you want to talk, I know you mentioned the event. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going to be happening at the conference and at the event, and who's going to be there, and what the agenda and the speakers and some of the panels are going to be like? I'm going to also share my screen here real quick. So if you go on the feed, it's like the third or fourth post here. You'll see the post for this, and we'll drop the link in here. But basically, Entre users are getting 40% off these tickets for it.
Wow. Okay, I didn't even know that. That's a big. Okay, yeah, you said it was a big discount. That is a really big discount. So Jamie hooked it up then in a major way.
Hooked it up Jamie hooked it up for us. It was. I think we're gonna try to get a decent amount of people out there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah, so I love that you didn't even know.
Like we're probably not making money on those tickets, but that's fine. By the time we feed, yeah, it's a crypto event that you have all your meals taken care of too. I feel like that's a rarity. So
yeah, that's great actually. We were at the Coinbase event or the Circle conference, and they had like some food, but it wasn't like, it was one of those things where you still had to like get other stuff. But yeah,
we're
I
having a
think
carving station, dude.
hell yeah,
Carving station.
I'm with it.
And I asked yesterday, I said, is it going to get backed up? You know what I mean? And they said, the guys who are carving are like ninjas and with the swords, and we'll make sure that there's 4 of them. So there you go.
Nice. Great.
Yeah, but outside of the food, I mean, the big question that we're trying to answer is sort of what we were just talking about a minute ago. What are the legitimate projects that we should be paying attention to? What has staying power? We're going to have some incredible minds in this space here. I mean, some incredible minds in this space here. And it's going to be like not so much like a one-to-many event, but much more of like a one-to-one or a many-to-many type event, right? We're huge on the networking components. We're huge on just like, if we're thinking something in the back of our minds, let's just get it out there. Let's challenge the theses. And again, like the whole goal is you will leave this event, one, well-fed, but more importantly, ready for 2023, right? You're going to hear, here's what some of the best minds in the space are thinking about. Here's where my peers, my community is thinking that the opportunities are. Here's the projects that I'm going to go dig into, research into. If you're a builder, maybe you want to consider building something. But I mean, that's the big question that we want to answer. Tons of networking, tons of content, and we'll have some fun with it too. It wouldn't be a Benzinga event if we didn't have some fun.
Love it. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I haven't gone to too many events in New York for a while. We used to do a bunch of stuff there. We're going to start doing a lot more in New York now going forward as well, especially now that we can do ticketing and everything through our platform, which I was showing Jamie about and like telling him about. So we're doing like this event, the ticketing and stuff, like you guys, we have already like connected up your Stripe account so that everything's already going directly into Stripe for you guys through our platform, and people can pay directly on Entre.
The platform is amazing, by the way. How long have you been building it?
It's been in development for like 3 years, man.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on. We have a full, iOS and Android app as well. You can post content, you can do live streaming, you can do in-person virtual events, ticketing. We have job postings. There's a lot. And then we're rolling out community soon, which we're super pumped about, which kind of ties everything together, where people now can start their own communities, which are going to be similar to like Slack and Discords with channels, and you can kind of build it out in your own way and then benefit the rest of the features that we have to do events and stuff for your community. So the goal is really just helping people, streamline like how they're doing professional networking and working online and in the modern world, and giving people the software that they're already doing and using in one place that's for a fraction of the cost that they're already spending on other stuff. So it's going to be cool. We're super excited about it, man. We're going to be keeping up to really scale this next year and, partner up with a lot of companies like you guys to make this even better as we grow. But yeah,
let us know how we can help. Like if it's the news side of things, whatever it is, we're here. Even if it's just hosting like a regular, just market chat event, we're here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what 100%. That's what we were talking with Jamie about too. Was like, you guys do like a daily live stream on YouTube, and like, let's get that over here, and we can then have you guys set up a community, and you can manage all your subscribers and user and people who are on your newsletter. One place they can chat with each other. You can do live streams and everything through here. They're going to get push notifications and everything. So it all kind of fits, and we're still, figuring out the best way to collaborate with companies and different brands and stuff. But yeah, we're excited about it, and looking forward to working closer with you guys for sure going forward. Now, there was a question too about Benzinga's business model so it's let me just get this right. So Benzinga's business model is to educate and then convert subscriptions, possible transaction fees under the brand. So you guys have free version for Benzinga, which is all the news, insights, and all this other stuff. And then you have, I believe, Benzinga Pro, which gets people access to more things, more reports, more detailed, I guess, information and education. Or if you want to dive deeper into that, like, feel free, and we can, go deeper into what Benzinga Premium is.
Yeah, totally. And I'll share my screen again for a second and show you what Benzinga Pro looks like. But the one clarification is there's no like transaction-based revenue. We're not a brokerage. We're not a broker dealer. We're not incentivized to get you to trade more, trade less, buy anything in particular. Nothing at all along those lines. For us, it's all about the information. We have everything that's free on benzinga.com proper, and that's ad-supported model. And then if you really like us and you're really passionate, you're really active as an investor, we have this subscription product, like it's called Benzinga Pro. And this is, you get everything on the market. So I'm just showing our news feed right here as like one feature. Today is, we're one of those days where we're getting a ton of earnings reports, right? All these companies putting out their quarterly results. So in real time, you're getting the information flow on what's coming out of all these companies. You can filter it down. Here you can filter it down by sector, by industry, by your watch list, by the stocks you actually own, by biggest gainers, biggest losers, etc. But again, it's like your one-stop shop for everything, get deep into financial markets, especially on the stock side of things.
Yeah, I love this. Do you guys have a crypto product that's similar to this, but for like cryptocurrencies?
We're getting there. So within this, we cover the main cryptos. Let's call it your top 10 or so. We're going to have some announcements in the not so distant future where we're going to talk about, hey, how we're really doing this in a serious way. But it's a lot of work, and it's a big team.
I mean, it's kind of wild, actually.
Our content team is about 100 people, of analysts, reporters,
like,
etc.
Yeah, it pops in like every, couple minutes. There's a new, especially today with all the earnings announcements, it's probably just like firing off like every minute.
Exactly. And like, if we want to look at like a Coinbase, like here's how much information we have on just Coinbase today. It's a huge day because Coinbase reported earnings, but again, everything that you possibly need from the actual press release that Coinbase put out where they're, telling you their results to, hey, we're stripping out the information, what their trading volume is, etc.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Yeah, this is super cool. This is great. How can someone that has JP Morgan, Schwab, etc. benefit from? I guess you said that they can they can link their brokerage account. And then
correct. Yeah. So you're not making any trades here, right?
Yeah,
this is just your information source.
Plug in your portfolio to get the news on the stocks and stuff that you own.
Exactly. So like for me as an example, I'm an Interactive Brokers customer. So I can go and filter down to all the stocks that I own, which is probably too many. Here's the live look. It's a lot of individual stocks. Okay, but like I said, I'm a junkie for this stuff. Nice. And now I'm just looking at news flow on my individual stocks. So from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it's a very manageable amount of information. I get it all texted to me. I get it all as an email. And so you'll never catch me not knowing what's going on with my stocks. I do own Coinbase. I didn't see if it's up or down after hours. Let's take a look.
Nice.
All right. We're up 4%. That's fine.
Interesting. They're up 4% even on the miss.
Yeah, but it was down 8% during the day today.
Oh, so it was.
So it was
They were
like the market was
expecting
sort
them
of
to be
building.
even worse.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is super cool.
This
I wish
PayPal brutal, down 9% after hours. Ooh,
yikes.
on earnings.
Yeah, it's just wild what's happening. I wish I had time to just like I would love to just like, chill and watch, stocks and get updated on stuff. It's just so hard like building building a company at the same time. It's like I have to just like when I, invest just more long term so I don't have to watch it as much because otherwise I'll just go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what I would suggest, because we hear that all the time, is like pick a couple companies that you're really passionate about.
Right.
If you have a couple that you're really passionate about and you start keeping track of them, I mean, it's fun, if nothing else. You know what I mean? It's exciting. Build a thesis. Like today we do live streams. We do a lot of video content too. And we had this 13-year-old on, and we said, like, what's on the Christmas list? And she's like, Lululemon. That's it, Lululemon. And we're like throwing out all these other brands, like teen apparel brands. But it's like, that's horrible. No, nobody would ever wear that. And so it's like fun to like build these theses. Can you back into it with some data, some sales trends, and like, boom, then all of a sudden you're obsessed with Lululemon stock, every product launch, every store.
It's is going to be making purchasing decisions and what their decisions are going to be based on, because I feel like a lot of it is going to be based on not really price as much as it is the brand, and how the brand makes them appear or how the brand makes them feel in relation to other brands and other products and stuff. It's really interesting because like you talk to some people, they don't care at all about brands and stuff. And then other people are obsessed and only buy certain brands all the time. So I'm really curious if like Gen Z's in this next generation is going to be either like way more focused on just certain brands and they're going to dominate, or are they going to care less about that and more just like if the products are cool or like if it's cheap and affordable. So yeah, I tend to lean towards like they want the brand, but
I think so too. I have the same sense.
Yeah. Do you guys also spit out content on political-based legislation that impacts stocks?
So something that we're working on that's really neat is like we've all heard, or maybe no, I shouldn't assume. I hear it every day because this is my world, but like Nancy Pelosi is like the best stock picker of all time.
Yeah.
So we're launching it'll be a free tool, but a tool that shows you all the Congress trades in individual stock investments along with their track record.
Nice.
So you can see like, hey, is this person outperforming the S&P 500 every year for their 20-year stint in Congress? If so, I want to know all the stocks that they own right now.
Yeah. I think people would take that too. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there's a there's a Twitter account for Nancy Pelosi's like stock.
Oh, for sure. There's like yes.
And I think it has like a ridiculous amount of followers. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, stock tracker. Yeah, it has 180K.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So funny, dude. But it is wild how like,
So to answer the policy question,
how good they are.
yeah, it's total luck, right? Buying Moderna before we choose to focus on that as our vaccine solution. Some of those that are like, yeah,
more questionable.
Yeah, we're buying some defense stocks, a couple days before Russia invades Ukraine. Yeah, a little questionable.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny how they'll, Martha Stewart and other people get in trouble for insider trading and stuff.
I know.
It's like,
What the hell?
It's interesting, but hey, to each his own. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, the positive is that all that info. Sorry, go
let's
ahead.
capitalize on it. It's all public information, so
Exactly.
let's capitalize on it and use it to our advantage.
Exactly. It's like it's really hard to keep track of with like the official filings, right? But it's all publicly available, and that's where it's my job to then flip it over to you in a way that's super easy for you to consume.
For sure.
Right? Not time intensive, etc.
100%. Yeah, no, this is great, man. I think we're coming up on time here soon. I want to be careful about your time as well. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to drop them. I'm also I've been streaming this also throughout through our clubhouse as well. We had like 100 people pop in over here as well. So if you guys have any questions as well, drop them in the room chat. But I think, this has been awesome, man. I'd love to, if you have any, like, if there's anything too that you guys are, how could people help Benzinga, or like, if there's anything that you guys are looking for? Are you guys hiring right now? Are you looking for more people to come on just as readers, subscribers? Are you looking for contributors? Or are there any other events that you guys have planned for 2023 coming out? What else is going on?
Yeah, so for one, make sure you come to the event in December. It's totally yes, come. It's going to be awesome. Like, and I'm not just saying that. Like, we put so much energy and so much thought into this. Like, we're trying to build something really, really special. And you somehow got that 40% discount code. I mean, it's literally bigger than anything that any other group has gotten. So good for twisting Jamie's arm to get that one through. So for one, yeah, definitely make sure that you come to the event. Two, we love people who are passionate about markets. If that's you and you want to contribute content, you want to give us feedback on products, whatever it is, my email address, super simple. It's Luke, Luke, @benzinga.com. That's it. Drop me a note and we'll figure out some way to bring you into the ecosystem. We're entrepreneurs, we're business builders, we're passionate, we're so much more yes before no people. We'll try anything except for heroin once. Send us over the ideas. We're so open to them.
Love it. Awesome. We got another question that came through. What's one sector industry that you're most bullish on for next year?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go B2B SaaS.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we like you started and you mentioned some of the headlines, right, about layoffs. We've seen all these advertising budgets get slashed. All these tech stocks are just getting washed out, down 70, 80%, et cetera, off of their highs. I'm thinking about some of these places where SaaS solutions are so embedded in businesses that no matter how much budgets get cut, they're not going anywhere. Think about like a Salesforce.com. Think about a HubSpot. Think about an Asana, a Monday.com. All of those sorts of places. Their stock prices have gotten decimated, like literally in a lot of cases, decimated down to 10% of what they were, just with the broader tech sell-off. But I think that they're going to be more resilient than a lot of other spaces.
100%. I think that's really interesting. I totally agree. I think, like, especially with Salesforce acquiring Slack, like, people use Slack every single day. People use all these other platforms. Zoom, I think, is interesting. I think HubSpot's super interesting. HubSpot's a little tricky because
this is a good one to talk about.
So because it's so tied to a lot of marketing and sales, like teams. So when sales and marketing teams get lower, right, and when they shrink, then the usage of HubSpot's going to shrink. And HubSpot's also very expensive. So startups that are just paying for HubSpot right now are going to cut HubSpot and then use other software that's way more affordable.
Yeah. And it is crazily expensive.
So it's not as, and I look, I love HubSpot. Dharmesh, the co-founder and CTO, is one of our biggest investors.
Okay.
Actually, it's our biggest investor. So, we love HubSpot here. And, I think they have a fantastic product. But of all of those, right, I think they're kind of subject to also a lot of the marketing stuff. I think Twilio is really interesting. I think Twilio has huge, but that's what's made Microsoft, Google, like people use Microsoft every single day. They use their email. That stuff's not really going anywhere. Like Google Workplace, all of that stuff's going to be around for, they're not going to be taking big hits on most of that stuff. And then you have like Intuit with like, QuickBooks and all of that stuff too. Like those aren't going anywhere. What we're, and how we're building out Entre, especially with our new, some of our new features and stuff, is like, we want this to be able to replace a lot of your B2B SaaS tools, right? We're replacing it for ourselves first. So like, we don't use Zoom or Google Meet anymore as a company. We use our own platform. And we're about to transition out of Slack and into our own platform as well.
Okay, so, that's awesome. That's a huge move.
So now it's like, and it's not just like the Zoom and the Google Meet, but it's also the event software like Hopin and Eventbrite and all these other tools too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's really all these event softwares suck.
Right. That's why we built
I'm a hater on them. If you can make a better solution, we'll be a customer for sure.
Yeah. And
I've tried so many event softwares.
Yeah, and it's the problem too is they're expensive. So what we're hoping to do is give you the software that you need, right? And all the stuff that you want to do, from ticketing to like actually hosting the event, doing the event, but also helping a lot with discoverability. And then because we have a mobile app, as the event starts, people can click a button and join the event, right? So, and with our tool, like you can have 25 people on stage, you can have over 250 people in the audience, all for the same, like, you don't have to have a pro subscription to be able to do that. Like it's changed, it can change how people do virtual events and everything completely. Plus, you have the ability to also host in-person events and get people signed up for those as well. So it's, there's a lot going on for sure. And, we're just excited to start like scaling this out and growing because we've been building this for a while. But
how many users do you have right
now? We just cracked 60,000 total users. Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been quite the grind for a while, but yeah, we're gearing up to everything that we've been doing has been like gearing up to roll out communities and then scale. We've just been growing like organically, just, without ad spend and stuff for the most part. And just like refining the product and getting feedback and everything for sure.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's crazy because, you guys have built like one of the biggest, subscriptions and audiences for all of this stuff too. And it's like, we're just excited to like be, working with you guys and partner up on some of this stuff too. Cause I think, there's a lot of synergies there and figuring out how we can get, using our tech to leverage your guys' audience as well. Can be really cool.
100%. And like we're so entrepreneurial. We've made some decent headway, but we have so much further to go. And any chance to work with fellow entrepreneurs and builders and people who want to change the course of how we live our lives every day is we're so ready for.
Yep, that's the whole thing, man. That's where Entre comes from, entrepreneur. We started as like a very entrepreneur community, and that was like the whole focus, and we've just kind of expanded out now a little bit as a more professional network. But entrepreneurship's at the core, man. I think entrepreneurs are basically, you know, a they are the ones that have made the most impact throughout history,
For sure.
and the real problem solvers of the world. So, yeah, we got another question here about AR and VR stocks, and how they're affecting the Web3 ecosystem, metaverse. Obviously, Meta has made a huge bet. There's a lot of people have been talking about how insane they have been for spending billions and billions of dollars on this. Do you have any thoughts around the AR VR industry or the metaverse space and what Meta has been doing in some other companies, or what's your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, so it's not a space that I know incredibly well. My biggest single stock position is actually Facebook, aka Meta. If the quick thesis on that one is that the company is so cash flowing that at its current valuation, even if it had zero upside from Web3, metaverse, anything, it's still an incredibly interesting stock. And then when you have the icing on the cake of that upside, I think it's like a crazily undervalued stock right now.
Yeah, it's gotten hammered.
Killed.
And
It's
yeah,
cheaper than like Alibaba at this point.
yeah,
When it doesn't have like all the Chinese regulatory risk. I mean, it's crazy how cheap this stock is.
yeah. Part of me thinks like if Zuck just wasn't the CEO and they like had a slightly better brand like as part of that, that people would be investing more in the stock. I feel like there's just such a it's just like one of those things where I think people just hate Zuck so much, or like
I think
not
so too.
everybody, but like there's
Enough
so
people.
many people. Yeah, there's enough people that dislike him enough to just not buy the stock just because of that, even though they think it like if it was anyone else that they would buy it, right? Because it's just he's just not, for whatever reason, like I don't really have too much against him, right? But he's just not really a likable guy.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like, bro, just be chairman, get a likable CEO, still own all their stocks. You can still control the board. Just get a new CEO to like be a good face.
You need the face guy.
You need a better face guy, 100%.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so let me get this in perspective too. Like the sell-off in Facebook, this is the cheapest the stock has been since 2015. It's
That's
as
pretty
cheap.
wild.
It's as cheap as it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
If you go back like 8 months, you would be up what 300, 400, 500%. But it's given up all of that and some. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because I remember when did I think I bought some. I got it for, yeah, I think I bought actually right around 70 back in 2016 or 15. Yeah, it was 2015. That was right before I left my job. I got in for like 70 or something. And I sold it like later, like a year later or whatever. But yeah, it's just wild, man. So I got a question here before we wrap up too. What do you think about Twitter and Elon?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that he'll actually be able to turn it into a business without a doubt.
Make money.
I mean, the freedom of speech thing can go a million different ways. I'm not about to unpack that right now. Nope. Not happening. We got a couple minutes left. I mean, I think it's a public company again in a couple years, and it's got a significantly better financial profile. To be honest with you, at the very least.
Yeah, well, it was bloated, and they had a bunch of people doing nothing, and he's laying off half the company, and then he's implementing revenue streams that weren't there. So it's going to be a better business.
I mean, even just his like blue check mark $8 a month idea that he floated, right? $8 a month, $1 million. Let's say 1 million people sign up for it, which I would imagine would be north of that, right? You're just dropped, 100 million to the bottom line. per annum.
For sure. It
You
just,
know,
yeah, the tricky thing is like doing verification, a paid verification. I do not think that is going to be the best way to do verification, because there's going to be bad actors that are going to pay to be verified, do messed
exactly.
up
I make
things.
a profile that's you.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, this is Michael Mayer that's verified, and the other real Michael Mayer is not verified. And it's like, what's going
That's
on?
gonna be
You know what I mean?
that's
It's like,
gonna be
that's
tricky.
not a good way of doing it at all. So,
Wait, have you seen Doge in the past
I
several weeks?
speaked up a little Doge because I think he's gonna do some. I think he's
That
gonna.
was a crazy move.
I think he's gonna be pushing Doge heavy. So, it's worth to just like be in that game, even though I don't like think it's whatever, but it's worth it. There's a quick question here about inflation, then we can wrap up. Do you think the 5% ceiling of the rate hikes can bring the 10 plus inflation under control? I don't know how well versed you are with all the rate hikes and inflation and everything, but if you have some insights there to share about, inflation and the rate hikes and what you think is going to happen with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think rates do keep going up. And eventually, I mean, it's going to hurt demand so badly that inflation does come down. It's just going to bring buying down, slow everything down. I mean, look at the slowdown in the housing market as like a canary in the coal mine. My fear, which is the fear of a lot of business owners, is that we're overdoing it, right? My best world is 0% interest rates, and we're mailing those Donald Trump checks to everybody every year, 4 times a year. We never made more money than when all that stimulus went out.
Right.
So like, yeah, we need to come back to an equilibrium. We need to level off a little bit, and I think that we will. Question for
sure.
me is, are we about to overdo it?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think time will tell, but Luke, appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for spending it here. We'll share it out once the video's edited and everything with you and Jamie and the team. Any final thoughts? Anywhere that you want people to follow you or check out and learn more about you or Benzinga?
Yeah, I would just say if you could, Michael, just put the link to that event in the chat one more time, and then hopefully 100%. I can meet you all in person in December.
100%. Yeah, we'll get this out. We're going to also be doing a lot of promotions for this. I just dropped the link there. That will get you 40% off the ticket. And then, yeah, we'll be doing some more events and stuff to help push that out. And yeah, looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. I'll see you there in New York if we don't talk beforehand, but really appreciate you coming on, and hope you have a great rest of your week and everything, and safe travels to New York from Detroit, man.
Thank you. All righty. Talk soon.
Cheers,
Thanks, everyone.
Tuning in. See you guys soon. Bye.